that the producers, far left-wing activists in Hollywood, are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Zegler's appearances on their media platforms. Kind of tough.
And there is no resolution in sight for the Walt Disney Company when it comes to Snow White 2025 at the box office. This is exactly why Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, is in pure panic mode over not just the Rachel Zegler backlash, but the entire backlash surrounding this movie in general.
Disney just did the unthinkable, scrubbing Rachel Zegler from all their platforms and quietly announcing a brand new Snow White reboot. No apology, no warning, just a cold reset. And what's even more shocking, Hollywood insiders say far-left producers and activists are turning their backs on her too. This isn't just damage control. This is a full-blown reputational cleanup. So how did Disney's most promising star become the face of their biggest failure? Let's break it down.
And just how once trusted critics that shilled for the Disney Company all the time, even they are beginning to turn their back against them. That's how bad this movie truly is. Even if you look at the IMDb rating score, that's when you really know how terrible this movie is and how it really hit rock bottom.
Rachel Zegler was supposed to be Disney's next big thing. She was handpicked to lead one of the most iconic fairy tales ever told. A Latina Snow White, reimagined for a new generation. The announcement alone made headlines across the world. But fast forward to now, and Rachel is completely gone. Disney has canceled all her press appearances. Promotional material has been re-edited. Social media campaigns quietly shifted away from her entirely. She's been ghosted by the very studio that once treated her like royalty. Sources close to the production say even Disney insiders couldn't believe how fast things turned. But the truth is, this wasn't sudden. This was a slow public unraveling, and Disney saw it coming.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
Yeah. Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, is no stranger to controversy. But this one, it rattled the company to its core. Insiders say Iger was blindsided by just how fast the backlash snowballed. The Snow White remake didn't just spark criticism. It sparked outright rebellion from fans, influencers, critics, and even former Disney loyalists. From parents online to legacy Disney animators, people weren't just disappointed, they were furious. Disney had taken one of the most treasured characters in its vault and turned her into a divisive symbol of everything fans didn't want from modern media. And it didn't help that the lead actress, Rachel Zegler, kept pouring gasoline on the fire.
After one hell of a PR tour, Disney's live-action Snow White is finally, I know, you were wondering.
At first, fans were skeptical of the film's bold changes. But skepticism turned to outrage after a few now infamous interviews with Zegler. She mocked the original Snow White as outdated. She dismissed the prince as weird. She bragged about how her version wouldn't be saved by a man, and called the original love story awkward.
We're bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
It wasn't just the words, it was the tone. Arrogant, dismissive, and completely out of sync with what fans expected from a Disney princess. Clips went viral. Hashtags exploded. Entire YouTube channels built content around dissecting her interviews. And Disney, they stayed silent. They hoped it would blow over. It didn't.
And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
When the film's trailer dropped, it all came crashing down. The backlash was swift and brutal. Fan forums lit up. Reaction videos piled in. Rotten Tomatoes scores plummeted. And Disney's marketing team went into panic mode, trying to salvage a film that hadn't even hit theaters yet. What was supposed to be a celebration of diversity and empowerment turned into a PR disaster that Disney couldn't escape from. Test screenings showed lukewarm responses. Merchandising flopped. Even loyal Disney adults began to say, "This isn't it." And that's when Disney knew they had to do something drastic.
And you have parents looking at Disney being like, what are you doing, guys? Like, this is supposed to be a place where magic happens, and all you're doing is indoctrinating kids, and you're having this person be the poster child of the Democratic Party.
Instead of a dramatic firing or public apology, Disney took a quieter approach. They erased Zegler from the narrative entirely. Internally, she was removed from future projects. Marketing teams were told to pivot. All media appearances were either canceled or quietly rescheduled without her. And most telling of all, when Disney officially announced a new Snow White reboot, there was no mention of Zegler, no acknowledgement of her previous version, no send-off, nothing. It was as if she never existed.
Look no further than what Disney is doing with their woke, DEI, feminist agenda.
So what does this new reboot look like? According to early reports, Disney is going back to the roots. The tone will be more magical, more romantic, and far more faithful to the 1937 animated classic. The songs? Returning. The prince? He's back. And the beloved forest animals and dwarves? Reimagined with care, but present. Disney executives now claim they want to restore the emotional heartbeat of the original, to bring back the wonder, the fantasy, the childhood nostalgia that made the story timeless. They've hired a new creative team, tapped legacy animators, and even reached out to consultants who worked on Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid. Everything is being reviewed, tone, pacing, visuals, to ensure it captures the Disney spirit fans feel they've lost.
Tell me if this is attractive to you. Like, does this, imagine you invested into her being the face of the movie and she's the main character and she's trying to promote the movie. Would this make you want to go watch the movie when she's starring in it and she's the main character?
But here's where it gets deeper. Many believe that the Zegler version failed not because of one bad performance, but because of Disney's obsession with pushing modern political agendas into legacy stories. From race-swapped characters to removing traditional romance arcs, fans have accused Disney of forgetting who its core audience actually is. Parents want their kids to experience the same magic they grew up with, not to watch fairy tales turned into political lectures. And with Zegler's off-screen comments fueling the fire, Snow White became the breaking point. Whether fair or not, Rachel became the poster child for what fans saw as Disney's woke downfall. And Disney, they needed a scapegoat.
She destroyed hundreds of millions of dollars worth of IP for Disney, but she also has destroyed her career and the careers of anybody who worked on the movie.
Leaked internal memos from Disney's marketing department show just how chaotic things got during the rollout of the original Snow White. Creative teams couldn't agree on messaging. The PR department was frustrated with Zegler's unscripted interviews. Even within Disney, there were heated debates about whether the film should lean harder into modern themes or retreat. It created a perfect storm of mixed signals. The result? A movie that didn't know what it wanted to be, and an audience that didn't care enough to find out. Merchandise sales tanked. The film lost millions, and Disney got slapped with one of the worst branding disasters in its recent history.
The producers, far left-wing activists in Hollywood, are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Zegler's appearances on their media platforms. Kind of tough.
We'll still offend the dwarves, but we'll CGI dwarves. So we'll guarantee no employment for little people while getting rid of this other component that warranted CGI. It was the worst decision they could possibly make.
For Rachel Zegler, the fallout has been brutal. Once celebrated as the breakout star of West Side Story, she's now seen by many as the face of Disney's failure. Despite her talent, her comments, attitude, and overall handling of press made her an easy target. And instead of damage control, she chose silence. No clarification, no heartfelt explanation, just disappearing tweets, and a vanishing act from public life. Whether she was poorly managed, misquoted, or simply misunderstood is now irrelevant, because the court of public opinion already made up its mind.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
You know, what's really interesting about this is not that this is something new. Rachel Zegler has been doing this for a very long time.
I mean, they're projected to lose between 2 and 400 million on this.
So now the question is, can Disney actually recover? The studio has a lot riding on this reboot. It's not just about Snow White. It's about restoring faith in the entire Disney brand. For years, Disney could do no wrong. But after a string of divisive remakes and public controversies, they're facing a reckoning.
you could look at the fact that she has been sabotaging this film for years at this point, all in this sort of pursuit of entitlement.
Every way that Disney changed the story, it changed it for the worse.
The reboot is being pitched as a return to form, a soft reset, a love letter to classic storytelling. But it won't be enough to simply play it safe. Disney needs this reboot to hit hard and resonate with both nostalgic adults and new audiences. Because if it fails again, there might not be a third chance. In the end, this isn't just about Rachel Zegler. It's not even just about Snow White. It's about what happens when billion-dollar brands forget why their stories mattered in the first place. When studios trade wonder for messaging and storytelling for politics. Rachel Zegler may have been the star, but Disney wrote the script. And now, as they rush to undo the damage, they're learning a hard truth. You can't force nostalgia. You have to earn it. Whether this reboot can bring that magic back remains to be seen. But one thing's clear. Disney doesn't just need a new Snow White. It needs redemption. What do you think? Did Disney make the right call by rebooting Snow White and erasing Rachel Zegler from the spotlight? Or is it too little too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments.